Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Would like to introduce to you two articles of interest. Before I do that, I would like to let you know that this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It is not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is Gens News US, and the story by Catherine Frick, or Fritsch, however you pronounce her name. The headline reads, Underwater Internet Cable Cut, Raising Fears of Russian Sabotage. And how do you see that this is an underwater cable that they use in the sea? This is definitely connecting continents and connecting countries for the internet, what they call wide area network. So this is connecting land masses for the purpose of internet connection. So our caption reads, Photo is Shutterstock, copyright photo is Shutterstock. Now to the article itself. A critical undersea internet cable connecting Finland and Germany was severed on the morning of November 18th. The cable, known as Line 1, spans nearly 1,200 kilometers under the Baltic Sea, according to Zaire. Cinia, the Finnish state telecom operator responsible for the cable, confirmed the damage but stated the cause remains unknown and investigation is already underway. The Lion 1 cable, operational since 2016, is the first internet and data link between Finland and Central Europe. It connects Helsinki to Rostock, Germany, with a capacity of 144 terabits per second. So to give you an idea about that, you get 8 bits to a byte. So most of the time, in terms of storage, you're thinking of bytes, but in terms of communication, it's bits. Why? It's how information is sent through a cable. There's books you can read on this stuff. Of course, you can read that, explain this in detail, but that's in a nutshell. So basically, a terabit would be a trillion is a terabit. So 144 terabits, what you'll do is you divide that by 8, and that'll give you how many bytes. So 144 terabytes divided by 8 will give you in bytes, and this is per second. That is the full capacity for bandwidth of the cable itself. Now, upon its launch, it was hailed as the backbone of digital infrastructure linking Northern and Central Europe. The disruption comes as the heightened tensions with Russia, which has already repeatedly threatened NATO infrastructure with potential sabotage. Isn't that wonderful? Last week, Finnish academic and Russian expert Pekka Kaleremi warned that the specific cable could become a target. Kaleremi stated that the Kremlin appears to be preparing for a large-scale sabotage of undersea internet cables. He cited Russian drills to disconnect the national internet from the global network as a sign of escalating preparations. Now, if the country doesn't want to be connected to the internet and they do it on their end, it doesn't affect any other country, that's one thing. But once you start affecting other countries, then you have an issue. Unrelated video, yes, that is idiotic what they did, but anyway, in a related video, Russia issues ominous warning about undersea internet cables as per Newsweek. And that video, I'm going to pause it here, will be available upon publishing of this review, but the link will only be available on Rumble, as YouTube does flag videos that have the links to the in the comment section, links as in it links to the article in the comment section. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to actually have a link to my Rumble channel and also with the name of my Rumble channel, so you'll be able to go from my Rumble channel, be able to go to this article, and you'll be able to watch the video. Moving on. Additionally, Russian security official Nikolai Patrushev recently alleged that the US and UK might destroy undersea cables, raising suspicions of Moscow's intentions. The timing of the incident adds to growing fears about the vulnerability of vital infrastructure. Finland, a NATO member and the longest border with Russia, has been on alert following recent geopolitical developments. The severing of Line 1 underscored the risks facing critical networks on the region. While investigators work to determine the cause of the damage, experts continue to warn about the broader threat to global communications. The Baltic Sea, which houses numerous undersea cables, is a strategic point of concern as tensions between Russia and NATO escalate. This basically reminds me of a situation in which where somebody can't get their way, so they sabotage it. Like, oh, if I can't get my way, I'm just gonna make sure everybody suffers. That's the mentality of a bully such as Russia, in my opinion, of course. You can be your own judge and decide on your own based upon the information given, and you can decide what you think about that. Now let's go to our second and last article of the review. And as usual, I would like to let you know that this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It's not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is Buzz Hint. You can't quite see it all that great, but the story by Jessica Taylor. And now to the article itself. The headline reads, Dark Eagle, U.S. Army's game-changing hypersonic weapon. And ahead of you, you see a slideshow of, it says 15, but actually in between, you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There's actually 7 of them. Usually what they do to get their advertising in is between each slide, they put an advertisement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the slide. I'm going to read it, and then for the advertisement, I'm just going to skip and blow by it. So this first one, you see, this is a launcher. U.S. Army has passed a milestone as this long-range hypersonic weapon, codenamed Dark Eagle, successfully flew on June 28, 2024, amid years of being an evolutionary battle over the emerging global threats. As for the second one, Dark Eagle is a truck-based group-launched system with a range of 1,725 miles, capable of speeds of over 3,800 miles per hour, capable of reaching its target and outmaneuvering missile defenses. The hypersonic missile has a fair amount of utility in the U.S. arsenal. As for the third one, you see the trucks there, and you also see the launcher here. It's quite tall, has a missile warhead. I think the warhead's on the top. The top of the missile, I believe that's what they call a warhead. If we go to the fourth one here, so I think if you click the next slide, it will go to an advertisement. So let's just go past that. So you see, actually, this is a close-up of the actual the launcher itself, quite tall. This is not the first time the Army has struggled to keep up with the new dynamic threat environments. The Navy, Air Force, and Marines pretty much have let the Army out of the planning of their main solution of an invasion of Taiwan under the title of Air-Sea Battle during the Obama administration. This affects the sequestration of this began in 2011 for readiness of the Army was severely impacted. Yeah, this is the wrong approach because you have to see each branch as in a bigger picture, as in each branch is like it's part of the team, the overall team. So if you think of, like, for example, United States military, right? That's like a sports team, right? Like a football team, right? So you have the offense, you have the defense, and you have the special teams, coaches, etc. So you have to think of it as one big team, not as in, oh, this is the one team and we don't work with the other team. No, they all have different functions. It's all part of a larger picture, which is part of the bigger team. So the idea would be is you'd work together to enhance each other and also to cover for any limitations or weaknesses of the plan itself. So yes, a lot of times what happens is they have cross trainings. The Army will work with Marines, Marines will work with the Navy, Air Force will work with the Army, Air Force and Navy will work together, and so on. So you can kind of do the mesh topology in terms of each different combination, but that's what it is. Let's go to the next one here. Now this one looks like, if I can show you, an actual launching of one right here. But the Dark Eagle test marks a watershed. The Army is putting itself on the hub of the hypersonic attack of the future. That's what it will restore. Says experts, there is no sharper engineering challenge than it is to end than hypersonic weapons. For our next slide, we actually see how this is lifted up from some sort of pulley system or crane system of sorts. Hypersonics is one of the biggest and most acute threats to the U.S. conventional military superiority because these weapons travel at unbelievable speeds and evade the most modern defenses. Hypersonics tops a list of concerns often cited by commanding officers of combatant commands in interviews. Now, as I said before, what they do is you have one commander talking to another commander. Nothing is done in a vacuum. It's all related and it's all in cooperation. For our next one, it looks like it's a start of a launch right here. As you can see with the picture, you can come to your own conclusion what you think it looks like, but it looks like they're launching what they call the warhead. The whole part of this, the bottom part of it is like the fuel and the launching of it. It says the part of the Dark Eagle, which is the missile, will be developed jointly with Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman. These are the people who make the actual weapons. For the next slide, we actually have the transportation of it. It looks like some sort of like trailer truck or something. And these will act as a two-stage booster accelerating the weapon through the atmosphere. Finally, the hypersonic glide as part of the Dark Eagle is utilized. You probably wonder why they shoot it up so high. Is because actually there's it has to do with a lot of things. One thing is air resistance. So the lower you are, the heavier the air is. And therefore, the heavier the air is, the more resistance you have for it to move, and therefore it has to overcome air resistance and actually has to use more fuel and is less efficient. Just like if you fly on an airplane, if you've ever been on a commercial flight, why do they fly so high in the air? Why? Because the air is thinner. And because the air is thinner, there's less air resistance, therefore uses less fuel and less energy to actually fly. So that's what it is. That's one possible explanation. I don't know for sure because I'm not one of their engineers, but in general, in terms of the physics, that's what it is. And here you see an actual launch. It says it has to travel a speed of above Mach 5 and is maneuverable to overcome different defense systems. Yeah, so what happens with radar is it has a certain range horizontally and vertically. So that's what it is. Next one looks like it was launched at night, so you can see from the photo. Caption reads, the Army has light-tested parts of the Dark Eagle several times, but each time has ended in failure. Overcome all of these failures, the Army is intent on getting a combat-capable prototype. For our next slide, we have the actual truck itself, very heavy duty. Notice the color is more like a sand color, so I guess I take it that would be to blend into the environment. In its 2025 budget request, the Army allotted $1,282 billion, which is 1.282 trillion. I'm sorry, 1.282 billion, excuse me. Looks like a comma. 1.282 billion for the Dark Eagle, with the portion split as 744 million for missile procurement and $538 million for RDT and E, which I'm not sure what that stands for, but it is what it is. Let's go to our next slide. You can see the actual launcher from here with the missile. And it says, hypersonic weapons like the Dark Eagle, for example, play a crucial role in outsmarting systems now being designed to counter airborne attacks and produce a desperately needed one-shot kill against an enemy. Okay, so we have this one that's lifted up. Russia is building a robust A280 systems that create impenetrable keep-out zones difficult for U.S. and NATO forces for breach. And then finally, we have the launcher itself on top of this mount. It looks like on the back of like on a trailer. And A2/AD systems, as you can see right here, this is what it is. The A2/AD systems could deny access to U.S. carrier strike groups and potentially prevent them from closing with Taiwan in a future war. Okay, so yes, you're only as strong as your weakest link, but you need every single aspect, especially the ones in the order of the events in the war, to actually be successful. So we don't want to leave out any part of teamwork to make it happen. So that will do it for our slideshow, which will show you all of these. I have this instead of the actual article because technically it is the article, but it's in the form of a slideshow. That way you can see all these pictures as it's explained in the captions right here. All right. Before I end the article review, I would like to ask your opinion on these two articles. The first one, namely, is Underwater Internet Cable Cut, Raising Fears of Russian Sabotage. Number 2, the second one is Dark Eagle, U.S. Army's game-changing hypersonic weapon. What do you think of those two articles? Are they interesting? Are they relevant to your life? And do they give enough information? You're welcome to give your opinion in the comments below. Just as a disclaimer, I would like to let you know to keep the conversation to be that of a productive nature. So if you have any criticism, keep it productive. Or if you have any suggestions about what other articles we could include in the reviews, you're welcome to do so. Keep in mind what I'm focusing on is current events in science and technology. As there is plenty of other ones to do, actually plenty of other articles I could use, but I'm using those. But if there's a particular interest for something and specifically that would have a wide-ranging interest, then I'd be open to hearing suggestions. Now, with that said, I would like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, as you could be watching any other science and technology or current events video, but you watch mine, so I greatly appreciate it. Now, as this did provide value for you to be up to date with the news, especially when it comes to geopolitics and other science and technology related current events video, what I'd like you to do is please click like on the video. That way it'll be pushed through the algorithm and more people will be able to view it and enjoy it. If you haven't already, please click the like, Yes, please click the like button first. Then please click the subscribe button. That way I'll have access to all the content on my channel, as I certainly do have a variety of content on this channel for you to view and enjoy. Also, if you haven't already, please click the bell button. That way you'll be notified of all my future videos. So when a future video comes out, you won't miss it, because you'll be notified of the new video coming out. So you will be able to view the video just as it comes out. So I'd like to wish you a great day wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I'll